Leighton Hewitt commentated on your match, and he said that you would use this match as a way to gauge where your game is at the start of the season. Is that right, and where is it at?
I mean, I would think so. Now that I've come through, obviously, I have a lot of information. I know that I feel, in some ways, it's still the beginning of the season, but I feel like it's the middle of it. So, which is a good feeling to have for the next round of this great tournament. But I wasn't thinking too much. What shall I do during this match that could benefit me in the next rounds? I was just focusing, point for point mentality, play tough and fair, and then hopefully come through and manage Tomic's great playing with some good shot making myself. So I'm happy, Leighton saw it that way, and I hope I can keep it up and play good tennis as we move along.
Your opinion's important to Bernard Tomic. He admitted in his press conference that he got some words of advice from you, and maybe he didn't quite take them. Well, he took them on board, he said, but he didn't quite follow through on it, and he said, this time I'm going to make sure I do. Where do you think his development is at, and perhaps can you compare it, not that he's perhaps going to get to where you've got, but can you see kind of a progression and maybe go back to where you were as a youngster?
Well, look, in some ways it's really interesting to follow a young player, an up-and-coming one, even though he's sort of established himself in the top 100 for some time now. So he's not that new anymore to the game, and he's obviously gotten some time to getting used to all the tournaments, the traveling, the practice, the pressure, the press, you name it. So now it's really up to him to, just to put in the effort. It's hard, when you're young. I had a very hard time for a long period of time to be as good and strong, let's say. For instance, as Leighton, as we were talking about him, he was incredibly tough mentally and physically at a young age, and I was totally not that kind of a guy. So if you'd compare me again to Leighton at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, it's just not fair almost to compare us, So I needed more time, and you would think that maybe Bernard's that kind of a player too, but eventually you just want to make sure you don't miss the train. That's what my problem was as well. I was worried that I was gonna, all of a sudden, not get the message loud and clear. And eventually I did take some good decisions, and I started to wake up and have a good attitude on court and off court, and understand why I'm doing all of this. It's at the end of the day because I love it, and it's a dream as a kid that becomes reality, and don't want to just waste it, because so many other kids or people or players would want to be maybe in your shoes and be able to play on center court, on Rod Laver Arena, whatever it might be. And I think that sometimes you just have to tell yourself that like that. So many players just don't even have an opportunity to be where you are just because of the coaching or where they're from. So it's important to respect that, and then move along as you play and practice and so forth. So it's really the day in, day out grind that can be grueling and frustrating at times, but the rewards are so incredibly, and you learn so much. And is there anything better than playing in front of, 15,000 people and putting on a good show, plus you're enjoying yourself? It's hard to beat, so you want to get there as much as you can.
There's a few 100 million of us want to be in your shoes, don't we? That.
Not in the pink ones, though.
Actually, I like them. I like them. Just looking at them before, I might get a